The Wimbledon women's semifinals have arrived, and unlike at the previous slam, we have a more expected Final Four, 2 slam champions, and 2 women who have long had slam winning potential. I'll break down both matches and give my ultimate prediction of who I think would be our finalists here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today. First, looking at Barty and Kerber, their head-to-head is tied at 2 apiece, all 4 of their meetings being on hard court. Barty, being the world's best player, has a better win-loss record, as Kerber was 8-9 before the grass season. Angie, playing on tour for a longer period of time, has 2 more titles than the Aussie, but Ash has a slight advantage in not playing as long. Plus, she won their last meeting at Wuhan back in 2018. Barty opened against Carlos Navarro, recovering from a subpar second set to win in 3. She won her next 2 matches against Pliskova and Karolina in straight sets before taking out Roland Garros champion Barbora Krejcikova 7-5, 6-3. Then in the quarters, she played her best match of the tournament, dominating Ajla Tomljanovic 1-3. Ash honestly didn't play totally great at the beginning of this tournament. She had solid streaks against Navarro and Semifinal, which were also accompanied by some sloppy play. However, I think the match against Krejcikova was the turning point for her, as once she was able to come back from 4-3, 40-15 down in the first, she looked like a different player. She cleaned up the unforced errors while also being more assertive. In her first match versus Carla, Ash was clean in the first and third sets, hitting a total of 25 winners to 10 unforced. However, in the second, she had 13 winners to a whopping 26 unforced. Barty's forehand, I believe, is still probably one of her biggest weapons, hitting the majority of her winners off of that wing. Her favorite is the one cross court, which I think could be a good play against Kerber, as it would really drag her off the court on that backhand wing. She used the inside-out forehand really well versus Tomljanovic, so really both are good to use against Angie. I also think the slice would be a good shot for Ash to utilize here, as Kerber likes good rhythm and working with an opponent's power. It's also very difficult for Angelique to attack off the slice, thus allowing Barty opportunities to construct the points in her favor. Along with the slice, Ash should incorporate the drop shot. When Muchova did use this shot, she generally won the point, as Kerber is a much better lateral mover than forward. Moreover, I believe Ash needs to look to be aggressive, of course, and also come to net. It isn't a walk in the park to approach against Kerber because she is a decent passer, but it's still a good play. When she does approach, Barty needs to cover the cross-court shot, as Angie passes that way 90% of the time. Kerber is good when she's on the run and not necessarily stretched, as it gives her more angles to work with. I've noticed that when opponents tend to go deep into the middle versus Kerber, the German struggles a bit more. I think the serve and volley would be a good play for Ash too, to really catch Kerber off guard. Meanwhile, Angie began with a solid straight sets win over Nina Stojanovic, and in the second, she got through a 3-hour plus battle with Sarah Sorribes Tormo. Then in the next round, she came back to defeat Sasnovich, then defeated Coco Gauff in straight sets. Lastly, in the quarter, she got her most decisive victory, dominating Karolina Muchova 6-2, 6-3. The first serve points won percentage has been pretty important for Kerber. Versus Sasnovich in the first set, where she lost 6-2, she won 59% of points on first serve, which isn't good enough at all. Meanwhile, in the second and third sets, which she took handily, she won an average of 94% of first serve points. From watching Kerber's matches this week, a lot of her service success depends on what she does after the serve. If she's in an aggressive position following that serve, she has a greater likelihood of being successful as she be in control of the points, which is what she strives to do on grass. Angie definitely needs to use her angles to get her opponent on the run, because Ash plays her best when dictating from the middle off that forehand. With this, she should also continue to hit with depth, as it prevents Barty from attacking. Angie's consistency will be an asset to her here, but she cannot be passive or else Barty will take control and push her all around the court. One of the Germans' best shots is her inside-out forehand, which could be a good play, even though Ash's forehand is so strong. I also think the lefty serve to the Barty backhand could be a good weapon, as it would get Barty out of position, especially on that ad side. This match will be very interesting because both women will now play their best opposition thus far, which provides them new, unique challenges. Kerber will be the more steady opponent Ash has faced yet, and unlike pretty much all of her previous opponents, she'll be afforded very few free points. We saw how tricky that transition and game style was for Goff, and it could be tough for Ash too, as she just played Isla, who is very erratic in their match. Meanwhile, Kerber will have to deal with probably her most complete opponent yet, as Ash has all the shots to break the Germans' rhythm. Muchova had these capabilities but didn't execute at all. Also, Kerber has been let off the hook in her past few matches, as Goff and Muchova squander some significant break opportunities, which Ash is less likely to do. The scoreboard pressure will surely be more apparent for Kerber, which of course helps Barty's case. I would give the slight advantage to Kerber because I feel like she's been the better player overall this tournament. Her consistency will be a huge factor, I believe, because Barty has not played a woman who's just made a bunch of balls like Kerber. She won't have the free points like she did against Siniakova, Krejcikova, and Tomljanovic. You truly have to be match prepared to play a peak Angelique, and I think it might be too much of a transition for Barty, which is why I picked Kerber in 3. I think Ash will at least get a set off of Angie because she does know how to find her game when need be. Plus, she'll likely take advantage of her opportunities better. The nerves could also play a role for Angelique because in the last game versus Muchova, she did appear to be tight. The same could be said for Ash though, as nerves played a role in her last 2 Australian Open losses. The second semifinal is between 2 power hitters, Karolina Pliskova and Aryna Sabalenka. Sabalenka leads the head-to-head 2-0, Aryna winning both of their 2018 matches in tough 3-setters. Aryna has had a better 2021 season as evident by her ranking and win-loss record, but the former world number 1 Pliskova has the edge in titles won. Pliskova, being the most dominant woman this tournament, has spent an hour less on court than the Belarusian. Karolina opened against Roland Garros semifinalist Tamara Jadenzek, winning 7-5, 6-4. She then dominated Donna Vekic and Teresa Martinkova, then did the same to Berlin champion Ludmila Samsonova. Lastly, in the quarters, she defeated Goyebic 6-2, 6-2. Karolina's serve has been a big weapon this championship, getting her out of trouble. She saved all 3 break points faced against Goyebic with some solid serving, and has only dropped serve 3 times all tournament. Thanks to the strong serving, she's been able to dictate points and has done well getting to the net and closing out points. Against Goyebic, she won 77% of points at net. Similar to Kerber, Pliskova's flat ground strokes work well with the grass, as her shots go through the court well. Aryna likes having time on her ground strokes, so I think Karolina's striking abilities are crucial for her success. The Czech woman talked about this herself, saying, "I believe I also have a game which can bother Aryna a bit. Big serve. I need to play fast, put pressure on her, but I mean a semifinal, so there's nobody like super easy. We played a couple of times and it was always super close. Let's see. I thought she played amazing all 2 weeks here, so do I, so let's see what's going to happen there." Aryna, on the other hand, opened against Monica Niculescu, winning 6-1, 6-4. Then she came back against Katie Bolter to the dismay of the center court crowd. In the third round, she claimed her most dominant win of the tournament, crushing Maria Osorio Sardano 6-love, 6-3. Then in the round of 16, she advanced past Rybakina in 3 sets before getting past Kerber 4-3. Sabalenka notoriously plays an offensive brand of tennis, but the main key for her will be steadiness here. She tends to be streaky at times where she makes more errors, like in her Eastbourne loss to Georgie and then French defeat to Pavlyuchenkova. In her match with Katie Bolter, she was a bit more sloppy in the opening set, hitting 6 more unforced than winners. However, when she wrote it in a bit, she took control of the match and Katie began fighting an uphill battle. Versus Kerber, arguably her best match of the tournament, she hit 7 more winners than unforced. Sabalenka, as we know, hits with a lot of pace, but her shot placement is fundamental to her success, as she often hits with great depth and out wide to get her opponents on the move. Aryna's return has improved throughout the tournament, taking advantage of opponents' second serves, more recently Kerber's, winning 70% of points whenever the Tunisian hit a second serve. Along with the return, the serve will be crucial for Aryna in this match with Pliskova, her 81% of her serve points won, getting her some crucial holds in that quarterfinal match. In terms of overall variety between the two, I give the edge to Pliskova as her net game is superior, and she has more of a B game than the Belarusian should things go awry. I think Pliskova generally is the steadier of the two, which of course works to her advantage in the pressure moments. Meanwhile, Aryna is a better athlete than Karolina, getting back more balls. Also, Sabalenka has the advantage in going through greater adversity in this tournament. Pliskova has been dominant all fortnight, not dropping a single set, but she hasn't faced a single seed all fortnight. That's not to say that her opponents are all pushovers, but I don't think those players played their best against Karolina, Samsonova especially. That could be due to the occasion or a simple bad day, but Aryna is a top 5 player and definitely has more weapons than a Goyebic. That's another thing, Karolina hasn't really faced someone of Sabalenka's ball striking ability, while Aryna had that match with Rybakina. The Czech woman might have a hard time adjusting to her game, but we'll see. Also, Karolina has been flying under the radar a lot, playing on the outside courts, and people haven't really been paying her as much attention. Meanwhile, Aryna has played on center court twice, including the quarters match, which is an added advantage. I just feel that Aryna is more prepared for this moment, thus I have her coming through in 3. That's all for my women's semi-final previews, and let me know whether you agree or disagree about Kerber and Sabalenka being my finalists in the comment section below. Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever the men's semifinal previews are posted. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.